You ready? All right. Joanne? I'd now like to call this meeting of the Coventry Town Council to order at 6:42 p.m. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig.
Here.
Councilmember Shockley is absent. Councilmember Pasqua.
Here.
Vice President LeBlanc is absent. President Lima.
Here. At this time, I will ask for presentation of our colors from Dennis Greco, VFW Post 9404, John Bubziak, American Legion Post 81, and veteran Marine Corporal Jane Deptula, Marine Corps League New England chaplain and representative of the Kent County Marine Corps League. Please stand. We will now be led in the Pledge of Allegiance from the Coventry High School JROTC. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for retirement of the colors. Thank you. Emergency evacuation plan. In the event of an emergency, members of the public can exit out the door number 1 or 2 in the back of the room to the back parking lot or front parking lot. Moving on to meeting minutes. Yeah, we can.
Can we ask the high school students just to stay for one more minute? We're just going to read the proclamation for our veterans.
Jane knew we were doing this. I don't know why she left. I told her.
Can one of you please just grab Janie Depula, the vet? Thank you so much.
And a motion to take the agenda out of order.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Pasqua. Do I hear a second? Second by Councilmember Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig.
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Motion passes.
Public acknowledgements and commendations. Veterans Day proclamation. Yes, please come up. Councilmember Ludwig, would you read the proclamation?
Thank you for coming back. We did want to offer proclamation for Veterans Day. We know that it is a little bit early, but because of the council schedule, we wanted to make sure that it was in advance of the actual day. And we're very honored to have many of you in the audience celebrate with us. We've been able to celebrate our veterans and offer proclamation recognitions the last several years. Many of us have attended multiple events through the local VFWs and different groups, the posts that are local here. So thank you so much for all of your efforts. I know every one of us has a personal connection, whether personal service, former military brat or whatever everyone's story is. Very, very special issue for this council. And thank you all for your service or your upcoming service. It means a lot to this community. So we're going to read this. So we have a proclamation for Veterans Day, let's start it out. Our town, state, and nation are comprised of selfless individuals who have taken up arms and sworn an oath to defend the principles upon which our great nation was founded. And throughout our history, brave women and men have honorably served in the armed forces, establishing a noble tradition of faithful and dedicated service. And Veterans Day has been a national and state holiday to honor those patriots making the ultimate sacrifice and who have answered the call of duty to protect our freedom. And we will always be indebted to those heroic individuals who served, were wounded, or died in battle. And where Veterans Day pays tribute to all American veterans, living and deceased, it especially gives thanks to our living veterans who have served their country honorably during war and peacetime. And as Coventry is the proud home to approximately 2,327 military veterans, we are here to celebrate and pay tribute to those brave and courageous members of our community for their selfless service and sacrifice. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Hillary Lima, Council President of the Town of Coventry, confirms the Coventry Town Council honors America's and Coventry's military veterans and joins in the celebration of their dedicated service as members of the United States Armed Services as we recognize November 11th, 2023 as Veterans Day. Thank you so much for your service and upcoming service.
At this time, I'll move on to public comment on docketed items only. Are there any members of the public who'd like to make a public comment on a docketed item? Any members of the public on Zoom, public comment on docketed items only, those on our agenda this evening, please raise your hand. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Public comment on docketed items is now closed. Moving to meeting minutes from prior meetings. August 23rd, 2023 executive session, October 10th, 2023 open session, October 24th, 2023 executive session. Do I hear a motion to take the minutes as a block?
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilmember Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as a block?
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilmember Ludwig. Discussion. Clerk, did you receive edits?
I did,
Were they made?
not yet.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for you to get back to me on the line. I sent you a new email with the line numbers,
Okay.
just
I'll
to be
take a look at
clear
that.
on them.
Yep. We at least posting draft minutes?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? Yeah. With no further discussion, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Opening public hearing for these licenses? At this time, I'll seek a motion to open public hearing.
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig.
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
We have 3 licenses before us this evening. Item A, new mobile food establishment license, Checked Out Nugs LLC, yearly license, pages 26 to 27 in your packet. To Manager Parrillo, any comments?
They've met all the requirements.
Is there anyone from Checked Out Nugs present this evening? Or on Zoom? Any members of the public comments on this license? Great. Item B, application for new victualling license, Racino's LLC, doing business as California Taco, 1030 Tyoke Avenue, Coventry, pages 28 to 29 in our packets. Manager Parrillo, any comments on this license?
That also has passed all requirements.
Are there any representatives here for this license? Hi. Good evening. Just state your name and address for the record and make sure the microphone's turned on. Is the microphone turned on? Just on the bottom, the base. There you go.
Yes, my name is Glenda Gonzalez Sanchez.
Can you just talk a little bit about your business?
Yes, it's Mexican food, and I have a prior location in Johnston, so I will be new to Coventry, and I'm very excited about it. I just hope that you guys give me the okay.
All right. Any members of the public present who'd like to make a comment on this license request? Yes, Councilor Ludwig.
Can you just give us a general sense of what you think your hours are going to be?
Yes, well, for now, since I'm not very familiar with the area, how it works, but it'll be 10 to 10, Monday through Saturday, and Sunday 11 to 9.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further questions from the council? Thank you so much.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I'm just waiting for one of my licensings for fire, but I haven't been able to reach him since September. So I don't know if there's any suggestions what I can do, because that's all I have left, I guess.
Yes, it's an issue that we're working on daily, and we will hopefully be in touch with you very soon.
Okay.
It's not just you. There's others as well.
I didn't know what else
behind
to do because I left
Yeah.
messages and everything.
Yeah,
and
no, it's an issue that we're working on currently.
So I can't open until that's clear,
Correct.
right?
Correct. We'll try to reach out tomorrow and see if we can get you a little higher up on the pecking order in order to get you opened.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
So Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
I just want to make sure you understand. So this is our town manager, Mr. Parrillo. So I don't know, Dan, should we just give her a phone number or something for tomorrow, or your email address? Or
We
something?
can reach out to her tomorrow. I'll try to get a hold of the fire marshal, see where she is on that list, and we can reach back out to her through Joanne.
Is your cell phone the number you put on the application?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll reach out. Thank you.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Should the same assumption have been made for item A as well, then?
Yeah,
For fire?
I don't think
Well, they're
food
mobile
truck, I
food,
don't
though.
think food
Yeah.
trucks don't have
Yeah,
licenses,
that's
right? No
fine.
fire required for a mobile food truck.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Item C, application for new Class F liquor license, St. John and Paul Parish, 341 South Main Street, November 17th, 2023, 7 to 10 p.m. Fundraiser Coats for Kids, Comedy Night, per Round General Law 3-7-14. I think you guys are here for that. Come on up. You just talk a little bit about the event. I think you've come before us before about this.
I have. Last year,
Any questions from members of the council? Councilor Ludwig.
The only question I have is the fundraiser itself coats? Is it coats for
It's
kids?
Coats. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
type.
it's called Coats
Coats
for
for Kids?
Kids. It's a Knights of Columbus program. And we're doing this, we've done this in the past through being sponsored through St. John and Paul Church. This year, it's a little different in that we're joining up with St. Vincent de Paul Society of Coventry, because the bottom line is we have this fundraiser, obviously to raise funds for buying the coats and the past 3 or 4 years, St. Vincent de Paul Society has been the distributor. They know where the families in need are, so it's kind of like a good relationship. So we're having it again this year on November 17th.
Do you know if 100% of the proceeds are going to the Coats for Kids initiative?
Yes, completely.
Okay.
So we've worked the thing out. I don't know the detail of it, but basically the Knights of Columbus are going to cover the cost of the coats. And whatever is left over is going to go to the St. Vincent's de Paul Society for the same thing, for distributing the coats and getting the word out, et cetera.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion from members of the council? Any public comment on this license? Any public comment on Zoom? Raise your hand. Thank you very much.
I do have one other question, though. It's a similar thing. The Knights are going to be having a fundraiser in January, end of January. We're not a nonprofit organization. So I just wanted to ask at that point, if we put in for a Class F license, what the fee would be.
Joanne, would you be able to follow up with them on that? Okay, thank you. Do you have his contact information? Okay, if you could follow up with him tomorrow, that'd be great. Thank
Great.
you.
If not, I know Elizabeth has my
Okay,
contact info.
all
Thank
right,
you.
thanks. All right. At this time, I'll take a motion to close public hearing.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilmember Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Do I hear a motion to approve item A, new mobile food establishment license, Chicked Out Nugs LLC yearly license?
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilor Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Do I hear a motion to provisionally approve the application for new victualling license, Racinos LLC, doing business as California Taco, 1030 Tyoke Avenue, Coventry, contingent upon fire marshal approval?
Make that motion.
Motion by
second.
Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilor Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
So, Madam Clerk, please just hold the license until, thank you. Item C, do I hear a motion to approve the application for new Class F liquor license, St. John and Paul Parish, 341 South Main Street?
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilor Ludwig. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passed.
President Lima, can I have us consider a motion to waive the fee on the application for the Coats for Kids event, the Saints John and Paul Parish license application?
Certainly. We have a motion from Councilor Ludwig to waive the license fee.
Second it.
for Item C, second by Councilman Pasqua. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to report of the town manager. Item A, Daniel Parrillo, town manager. A, update on the next steps with Coventry Public School District bond.
So we actually have a school building committee meeting tomorrow night. At that time, we're going to be discussing this with Phil Conti from Studio Jade and Dave Ferrara, bond counsel, as to the official next steps and what direction we're going in. So as everyone knows, we did pass a $25 million bond for school improvements. We are waiting for RIDE Stage 2 approval. which should be happening in December. Mr. Savetti has been in touch with Steve Massaroni from PFM regarding bonding. That should happen around April, May, once our audit for 22 and 23 is complete. We should be going out for bonding, and simultaneously the school, I'm assuming, will start processing RFPs for work to be contracted with hopefully a shovel in the ground by June 30th, which I believe is the deadline. So that's kind of where we are in a nutshell.
Questions, discussion from members of the council? Item B, update on blasting 262, 306, and 307 Town Farm Road.
Yeah, so I asked the clerk the process as to how this pretty much happens. So included in the packet is a memo that she submitted to me and to the council, just kind of explaining the process. So there really is no town intervention or town process for this. It goes to the state, the Department of Business Regulation. The fire marshal's office sends out the notification. We post it in the appropriate places. Try to get the word out to as many people as we can through our social media blast outs. There is a contact information for the company if there is any damage to people's properties. But besides that, the town doesn't really have any role in the process outside of what we're sent from the state fire marshal's office. That's the majority of the update on that I have.
Councilor Ludwig.
So thank you for putting some of the information together. So this is from the blast from approximately a week ago. I think most people in town probably felt it. I know I felt it over off of Coventry. And so actually Councilor Pasqua and I share kind of the area where a lot of residents called in from. And so we just asked for this to be put on the agenda so that we could just get a little bit of background information. We did see the code red that went out. I think it was on Thursday, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, more transparency, communication, always a step in the right direction. Thank you so much for alerting residents of that. We did have a few people contact us that had alleged that there was some damage to their property. And that's why we said, okay, let's get this on an agenda and see where can we help point people to. But my understanding is, like you mentioned, there's a number of things that have to be done on the state side. So it's not necessarily something that we are responsible for, but more so helping pass the messaging on.
Solicitor Angel.
I may. Thank you, Council President. What I've seen in other communities, we don't necessarily have a mechanism here, much like we do in a zoning matter, where you would notify a certain immediate radius of abutters. When we become aware of a permit like this, this is what happens. The state issues the permit. What some cities and towns do is they'll notify the immediate surrounding abutters so that in an advanced period of time before the blast, they're able to take a dated video of their foundations and other structures around the home, because that's crucially important if they're going to make a claim. Because what really matters, and put the plaintiff's lawyer's hat on for a minute, how do you know the crack wasn't there before, right? So if that sort of thing is done, and oftentimes blasting companies, particularly for neighboring properties, if the property owner will let them in, they'll do the filming themselves because they don't want to have a bogus claim. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that there were disaffected people who claim to be affected, but I think you understand my point. I don't know if there can be an informal process in this town that when we get notice of something like this in advance, if there could be, I mean, some cities and towns, you know, they'll pass an ordinance that says, hey, we don't have control over the blasting permit, but we can require that notice be sent out to a certain radius of people. So I don't know. I just put that out to the council.
Councilman Pasqua.
I think part of the challenge with this too is this is quite a wide ranging date on this permit. It's from October to March. So this is what we get. And it's not, you know, we're going to blast on November 11th. We're going to blast from October to March. So, we do have to rely on them a little bit to reach out to us. And I think we have that communication open with them now. But one thing I do want to address is there's been some confusion circling about where this is coming from exactly. This is a quarry. It's not for homes or anything that are being added or any type of development. So I think some people assume that this was something to do with the town and this was because of a building permit or something like that. It's actually not. It's an active quarry off of Town Farm Road. But yeah, we definitely should, and I think we're on the right path to do better as far as notifying people. But there's they do need to work with us on that because the permit is just a wide-ranging permit.
And I know in Cranston, they did have an actual siren that used to sound on Phoenix Avenue.
Siren.
Yeah, that they would set off prior to blasting. The quarry in Phoenix Ave, PJ Keating, exactly. Yeah, they would sound the alarm or siren, letting people know that this is happening. So could be
A siren is a mermaid, last I checked.
siren.
Just- you're dead serious. Siren. There's Simon of Cyrene, like, okay.
Director? Siren. Yeah, he's my boss. I have to go.
I'm like, no one else is gonna comment on this? Like, okay. I made him repeat it and he was more confident the second time. Councilor Ludwig.
So I think it would be helpful if we could just put a little bit of this information on the town website that just says, where we attempt to be helpful, we'll notify the public when we have this. But some of the state fire marshal information that was included in our packet, I did speak to one resident who mentioned that they had spoken to the state fire marshal, and there's actually website online you can go to, and if you'd like to, in essence, fill out a complaint or something like that, they'll come back and measure the blast and see if it was in the proper range, things like that. So why don't we just get a little bit of more information together and we can throw it on the website, just because I know this isn't the last time it's going to come up. And then maybe we can consider offline the ordinance suggestion by the solicitor. Thank you.
Any further discussion, members of the council? And item C, update on the status of the former teen center located on Washington Street, Coventry, as a navigation center. Manager Parrillo, I believe this item will be continued to
Please.
November 28th.
Yes.
Moving on to resolutions of the council. Item A, resolution 2023-87, tax assessors additions and abatements for November 2023. Pages 34 to 38 in your packets. Director Savetti, I assume this is why you're here? Or you don't have any? You just like talking about mermaids?
That's right. Yeah, so again, in your packet, you do have the information which was provided by the tax assessor, Ms. Martini. 3 items that you have in there. We have a list of abatements totaling $9,096.15. And then we have basically supplements to the existing tax roll for new construction totaling $40,534.17, and a supplemental roll for changes in the initial assessments resulting from sales and such items for $32,994.65. But I believe, again, in your packet, you do have a detailed list of all the properties, the homeowners affected for each one. If you need any details, we can certainly get that information to you, but we have exactly what changed.
To get discussion rolling, do I hear a motion to approve resolution number 2023-87? Tax assessors additions and abatements.
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilmember Ludwig. Discussion? Councilmember Ludwig.
The only thing that stuck out to me a little bit, so I don't know if you know the answer here, Mr. Savetti. On the supplemental taxes on page 35. I just happened to see similar addresses over and over on the same streets on Raymond's Point. I don't tend to see that. We tend to see varied locations, but it's I just wondered if there was any connection there, or I don't know, some piece of property that was impacted in different ways, or if it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I know there was one section, and I'd have to go through our notes, but there was one section where there were several properties that are in a condo development. So I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about, but there was condos and the right figure, I guess the component within the software wasn't added to get the proper calculation of the taxes. So I'm not sure if that's
I don't know
the
if
specific
there's
one,
any,
if you're seeing similar addresses.
I don't know if there's any condos on Raymond's Point. I think I've only seen
Which address?
Single
specifically
homes.
you're talking about?
it's just Raymond's Point is just mentioned at least 4 times on the supplemental taxes. So just curious if there was some coincidence or just, a reason for that. I thought it, so I've been out there, and at least the area that I went to was single family homes. So if there is a condo area there, I just didn't go that far.
So Raymond's Point, the people own the homes, but the road and the public land. Yeah, it's technically a condo association. And so they pay dues to maintain a lot of that area. So I think that's where that's coming from, because they are single family homes. You're right. And they own the land, but there's common areas that don't belong to the town, but belong to the residents as a whole. They sold basically the owners who own Raymond's Point sold that piece of land to the people, and they all cut it up and bought it on their own by dividing the cost of it. So it's a condo association in a sense.
Okay, thank you. I didn't have a concern. I just noticed something out of the ordinary. Thank you.
You're right to bring it up at the same time. Any further discussion from members of the council? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Moving on to council business matters carried over. Item A, carried over from town council meeting on October 10th, 2023, approval of Narragansett/Verizon to be granted permission to locate and maintain poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustain and protecting fixtures to be owned and used in common by the petitioner along and across the following public ways. Install new stub pole P6-84 to replace tree guy on Station Street. Manager Parrillo.
I believe, I know Councilwoman Ludwig's done a lot of work on this along with Kevin McGee, and I believe it's been identified that this pole is actually on private property, which I would assume negates the need for the council to approve it or deny it.
Yeah, so Director McGee was able to get us connected to the electric company, who confirmed, yes, it's on private property and they have to go to the resident. I did speak with the resident offline just to say this is what's going on. So my question would be, do we go ahead with a vote and basically deny it? Or I don't know how to quash it, because I don't think we even have standing here. They've basically not officially withdrawn, but admitted it's not something that the council should approve, in essence.
Well, the town does not have the right to grant anyone permission of any kind to put anything on private property. It's a great pickup that it was discovered that this is on private property. So the only avenue of redress the council has is to deny it, tell them to come back when they get it right, or if the landowner decides it's okay with me, then the utility and the homeowner need to have some sort of a writing to that effect that's recorded. And that would be appended to the application. Otherwise, the town would incur liability for essentially granting a trespasser permission to go on somebody's land and put a pole. That's really what it amounts to. I don't
Okay.
think the council wants to be in that spot.
Absolutely not. So I'd like to make a motion to deny the request that was carried over for the installation of the new stub pole P46,
P684.
P684.
Motion by Councilmember Ludwig,
Second.
second by Councilman Pasqua. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The motion passes.
Item B, carried over from Town Council meeting on October 24th, 2023, approval of Narragansett / Verizon to be granted permission to locate and maintain conduit, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustain and protecting fixtures to be owned by your petitioner along and across the following public ways. Install anchor guy at P42 with 15-foot lead north on Windrow Platte Drive. Manager Parrillo.
I spoke to Director McGee today on this, and he said the pole is in the town right of way, and he's working with them to put it in a place that they both can agree upon. So he sees no issue with this request.
So I'm gonna jump in here and I'm going to make a motion to, let me think if I want to table. Can we continue this, please, to 28th? 28th is probably fine. I'll make a motion to continue the 28th, and then I'll go into reasonings if I can
Yep.
get a second on that.
Motion to continue. Item B for anchor guy at P42 north on Windrow Platte Drive to our council meeting on November 28th. Do I hear a second? Second by Councilman Pasqua. Discussion, Councilmember Ludwig.
So this is a very similar situation in that they've given us what look like stick figures on a piece of paper. I don't understand how we can comfortably say that this is in the public right of way when even the name of this, the Windrow Platte Drive pole petition, there is no public Windrow Platte Drive. This is a private piece of property, and where they're actually putting these things is across the street in the other people's property. So my problem isn't that they're putting these in, it's that they're not saying exactly where it is. And when I look at a map, not only can I not tell which property, there's multiple properties over there. So I'm not clear how anyone else could be comfortable when we can't even see on the map they've provided. Once they provide a better map of exactly where they're going to put this pole, and we have the DPW director in to say that he's seen or it's within that right of way, I would feel more comfortable.
Agreed. Solicitor Angel.
The petition is defective on its face
Mhm.
because the depiction is a depiction of something by name, the name for which does not exist.
Mhm.
So they would have to significantly amend this petition. There's no reason why they just can't make a new submission. I don't know how the council wants to handle it, but this is a pretty significant.
I would be open
petition.
to denying this
Mhm.
and having them resubmit
Yeah.
properly.
I agree.
Or if we continue, it doesn't matter to me, but this is second time in a row.
I'd say the proper way here is to deny
Mm.
because now this application is. So if you wanna
So
withdraw your-
yeah, I'm going to withdraw my original motion, and I'd like to make a new motion to deny the Windrow Platte Drive poll petition carried over from the 24th.
Mhm.
Motion to deny by Councilmember Ludwig,
Second.
second by Councilman Pasqua. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Motion passes.
Item C, carried over from town council meeting on October 24th, 2023. Annual renewal of additional hours only, Tyoke Food and Snack LLC, 851 Tyoke Avenue, Manager Parrillo.
Yes, I believe there was some misconception as to who this property owner was. We thought it was related to another property in town, but it's a separate.
That was me,
Entity.
Manager Parrillo, so
That's
I
fine.
apologize to
Not
the
a problem.
business
We
owner.
just wanted to clarify it. So we're recommending approval of the license.
Do I hear a motion to approve the license?
Make that motion.
I'll make a
Motion
second.
by Counselor Pasqua, second by Counselor Ludwig. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Moving on to public comment for undocketed items, items that were not on our agenda this evening. Are there any members of the public who'd like to make a public comment on an undocketed item? Come forth to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Any members of the public on Zoom, raise your hand, state your name and address for the record. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Public comment on undocketed items is now closed. I have to formally table the executive session, do I? No. Yeah. At this time, I'll seek a motion to adjourn at 7:23 PM. Well, we had said what we were just tabling. It's the same thing as what was in his report. Yeah, the council will not be going into executive session. It's the same item that was going to be continued to November 28th from the manager's report. So, again, my request for a motion to adjourn at 7:24 PM.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilor Ludwig. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Say aye.
Aye.